President Trump's big decision to recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel, and one that Palestinians and others say could destroy hopes of Middle East peace once and for all.
The president's unilateral action will get people killed. How hot will it get, and how destabilizing will it be?
What he has done is thrown a diplomatic bomb into the Middle East peace process.
They're not interested in history.
They don't know history.
That would then embarrass all the Sunni Arab regimes. They would have to do something, enormously complicating, by the way, Israel's relations with them.
It's going to stop any hope of Middle East progress in the peace talks.
This kind of policy, unilateral decision, will basically wreck the Middle East.
Despite warnings from Turkey's President Erdogan, the kings of Jordan and Saudi Arabia, and all of America's NATO allies, that this could kill hopes for Middle East peace.
You'd have an explosion, an absolute explosion in the region. An absolute explosion in the region.
We're here this afternoon to change the course of history. After decades of division and conflict, we mark the dawn of a new Middle East. Together, these agreements will serve as the foundation for a comprehensive peace across the entire region, something which nobody thought was possible. For generations, the people of the Middle East have been held back by old conflicts, hostilities. These agreements prove that the nations of the region are breaking free from the failed approaches of the past. Today's signing sets history on a new course. Today the world sees that they're choosing cooperation over conflict, friendship over enmity, prosperity over poverty, and hope over despair. They are choosing a future in which Arabs and Israelis, Muslims, Jews, and Christians can live together, pray together, and dream together, side by side in harmony, community, and peace. Once again, let me congratulate the people of Israel, the people of the United Arab Emirates, and the people of the Kingdom of Bahrain. God bless you all. This is an incredible day for the world.
The president making a dramatic announcement today on normalization of diplomatic relations between Israel and an Arab state, Bahrain, the Kingdom of Bahrain, as follows the peace treaty that's about to be signed. These are dramatic developments in the Middle East. How much credit do you give the president of the United States for these peace agreements?
Well, hopefully they will be beneficial to the region. We've been waiting for a very long time for the president's proposal for an Israeli-Palestinian peace agreement that honored the two-state solution. It was coming in 2 weeks, it was coming in 2 months, it was coming in 6 months. It still hasn't come in any way that has brought peace. So good for him for having a distraction.
And we have many other countries going to be joining us, and they're going to be joining us soon. We'll have, I think 7 or 8 or 9. We're going to have a lot of other countries joining us.
I mean, what deal can we have, Crazy Nancy?
So good for him for having a distraction.
Good evening, everybody. How you doing, Brad? How you doing? Oh, I think you got... Oh, did I have you muted? Do you have you muted? I think you have you muted. Brad? Can you hear me? I don't know if Brad...
Oh,
there we go. Boom. Amazing.
Hey.
All right. So how are you? I didn't hear what you said there.
Good. I am not good with the audio, obviously. And
Good
it was
enough.
just doubling up on me, and I'm like, oh, man, I wonder what's going on with the intro. And I just had the sound on for the video. So
Classic case. I've been there many times. How are you on this very solemn occasion?
This is quite the shocking news right before us, saying that Supreme Court Justice, as I'm sure I see in the chat, many of you know, has passed away, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And while I would never speak ill of the dead, I guess this is good timing for the Democrats that this didn't happen last year when Fox News accidentally reported this. That is close enough now where I'm sure they'll try and filibuster it. But there is some time, so we'll see for a new pick,
Yeah, did you see that her dying wish was that she didn't want a new Supreme Court justice installed until I saw you point that out on Twitter, as I saw other people too, and it's pretty obvious what they're up to, don't you think?
Yeah, quite the wording there, installed, because they're betting on fixing this election. There's no way around it. First of all, he's a worse candidate than Hillary Clinton, which is, I can't even fathom that that's possible, but he's way worse than her. You got 2 solid years of the walk away campaign. And if you guys are like me, I always check in with those every couple of weeks and just read a bunch because they're just great. You got 3 years of our favorite Anon. You got 4 years of great policies. I mean, this is the most unwinnable election in the history of the world. Yet he still technically has a chance. So that should just tell you the impending voter fraud that they're banking on.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. I mean, it seems, all the things you just said, in the feeling in the air that they would, this time, after all this time, after you go and watch Trump rallies today, I caught a little bit of the ones happening tonight, all of the ones that have been happening recently, they chanted everyone now, we love you, we love you. We love you. They love him so much. And I understand why, because of all the things you said. Because as you may have seen in the intro montage to this stream, he is helping bring about peace. He said peace is the prize. And they couldn't, Obama couldn't do that. Oh, Biden, as Trump was calling him tonight. Oh, Biden couldn't do that. They started more wars everywhere. And I saw today in a poll that 33% of Black Americans did not think Obama should have won the Nobel Peace Prize. That was the headline, I think, was buried in the Rasmussen poll, which was 45% of people think Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize. But 33% of Black Americans thinking Obama shouldn't is it's pretty interesting, the awakening that's happening there.
Yeah, I would never have put that number above 5%. Maybe it wasn't, depending on how new that poll is. Maybe for a while it wouldn't have been, but 33%, dude, that's pretty damning. And you're seeing a lot more people coming out who were Obama supporters, who were just fed up. And once the smoke is cleared, he didn't do a lot of the things he said he was going to do, unlike Trump, who he mentioned it tonight in his rally. He's so right. He really has knocked a whole bunch off the list. And he had a pretty unrealistic list. And he didn't.
Yeah, especially for a politician dealing with Washington, dealing with the entrenched swamp. He said, I haven't broken a single promise. And I tried to think about it. It's like, wow, you can't say that about any politician ever. I can't think of a promise that he's broken. He's building the wall. He's lowering taxes, and I think that's another thing we're going to see is more tax cuts. He hasn't started new wars. I don't even know if he promised that. He did eradicate ISIS. He has ended regulation, so much regulation, all of these things, and people love him. And you go and you see, Brad, I think you sent me I don't have it queued up, but the video of the Biden car rally. Did you send that to me?
Oh, man, yeah. I wish I had that queued up. That was great. That was just the weakest little putt. It was like 3 little cars. One of them was a sports car in the beginning, but even that was going 6.5 miles an hour, and that was just great. How pathetic! They're so pathetic.
Yeah.
And you see McCain's daughter? She commented on his whatchamacallit, he had a town rally about his energy and how he's a shoo-in. If he brings this energy to the debates, he'll crush Trump. It's just hilarious, man.
Wow, they even project about who has a lot of energy, because I mean, the guy, I don't know how they can possibly think he's going to make it through a debate. I don't know. Do you think they're going to have a debate with this guy? How can they do it? He's going to lose so bad.
Yeah, I don't know. They sure don't want one. That's for certain. Whether it's supposed to be 3, right?
Yeah.
Allegedly.
And I know one's set for September 29th, which is only 11 days away.
Oh, man, that would be great. Did you see Joe Rogan offered to host a 4-hour and moderate a 4-hour debate between him and Biden on his show? They would have to hospitalize him after that. He would like need an IV.
Yeah, they'd have an IV pumping him full of amphetamines for the whole thing.
Right, yeah. They really would.
Yeah, I saw. Go ahead.
Man.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, there's no way he can handle a long debate, but man, I hope they go through with them.
No, especially with, he needs the teleprompter all the time. I don't know if he has an earpiece in all the time, what they're telling him what to say, but, he has that thing where he's saying, Jill, move it up, or, he's doing this with his hands to it because he can hardly see it.
Yeah, and 2 different times he read it. He read the end quote for one, and another one he read the header. I forget what it said. And in the James Corden show, you could see the reflection in the TV.
Oh, yeah.
And then one of the people for his show said, commented, well, that was James's teleprompter, and everyone was like, oh, thank you for confirming that was in fact the teleprompter. And nice try, but no one believes that it was James's.
Yeah, he was reading someone else's teleprompter because he wasn't reading what he just said. I'll just read this miscellaneous teleprompter sitting over here. Yeah, I don't think he could make it 4 minutes, but and also I don't think they can stop it. I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't really have much speculation, but like you said, if there's no way he can actually legitimately win this election. I don't see any possible. I mean, I know some people believe, like the real Trump derangement people believe. I do see some. I live in a very purple area, I would say, and I do see the occasional Biden sign around, and I don't see. I see the occasional Trump sign around. Probably more Trump, I would say. Most people are staying quiet because it's kind of a purple area, so they don't want to get into trouble, I think. And the Biden supporters feel very comfortable saying it, but there's not a lot of them. So some people really do believe it, but. It's in the media. And Q said, I think, that they're not going to report it on election night. Do I recall that right? That they're not going to concede an election night no matter what?
He certainly speculated that. And I know I've seen a few pages trying to say that. So I guess they're trying to seed that into the public. But man, that would be what a bummer that would be. There's nothing.
I know.
It's such an unprecedented election.
Yeah, he said here, make no mistake, they will not concede on election night, from a post. Oh, I guess this was 2 days ago on Wednesday. Make no mistake, they will not concede on election night. They will contest this legally in battleground states. They will project out in the election results. They will organize massive riots and attempt Anarchy 99 design. It says make no mistake before each of those statements. So he says they're going to fight.
He should just take whatever military he has and just take over the country. Go ahead. They've been calling him a dictator for 4 years anyway. I'm only kidding.
Yeah. I know. It is tempting, but it's amazing that Trump is showing so much restraint. I mean, he's like the opposite of a dictator. He's saying law and order. He's showing so much restraint.
So much restraint. I don't know how he does it. I like to speak to what you said before. Nothing they've said. They said he was going to be a hothead warmonger and get us all nuked and everything. The best was in the 2016 DNC. One of the main tropes, as I'm sure you remember, was that he was running a fear campaign. He's running a fear campaign. In between all their declarations of him that he's going to nuke everyone, get us all nuked, and that they pretty much made it seem like gay people were going to be thrown in freaking jails and camps, and they were making everything sound so horrible, and then had the nerve to say that he was running a fear campaign. It was pretty funny compare contrast, in my opinion.
Yeah, what's anti-gay or what's racist is assuming that all gays or all blacks are so stupid that they would all support Joe Biden. That's racist.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's just 2 arbitrary things. Like one's a sexual preference and one's just a skin color. What does that have to do with your mind or your heart? Neither one of them have anything to do with either thing. Yet they assume they'll just be a monolithic, I go with this, I go with that, or this people are for me or this people aren't. And literally the Democrats have proven over hundreds of years that all they are for is chaos and discrimination.
Yeah, that's all it is, over and over again. And if they were to get everybody of these groups on the same page, as you said, it would be it would be not of the mind. It would just be of an arbitrary thing, and it will just be mass brainwashing. And they want people to be massively brainwashed to not see what's going on and just follow like a bunch of subjects, like a bunch of slaves, like a bunch of wasps in a hive.
Yes, 100%. 100%, man. It's just funny. It's funny how all their slander really isn't amounting to anything. And I don't get the Trump derangement syndrome to this day. Like, it may be a little in the beginning, right? They hit us all with all this stuff, but there's enough proof now to know first of all, the racist and homophobe thing is just laughable at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go to the next thing. The big three were those two things and a warmonger. Well, warmonger, they said they very first had hinted like he was going to get us into war with Russia, which obviously changed right away to him working with Russia. They said he was going to get us nuked by North Korea. That was a big thing, which then he made peace with North Korea, and they freaked out about that. And they said he was going to make more wars in the Middle East. He de-escalated troops in Syria. They freaked out about that. He said he was downsizing troops in Afghanistan. They tried to twist that and say he was letting Russians kill Americans. He just announced they're bringing troops home from Iraq. I'm sure they're scrambling right now for a way to announce that as we speak. And now this peace deal with the United Arab Emirates and Bahrain, and they're either dismissing it or trying to make it sound bad, or it's just, what did Nancy say? It's a distraction.
Yeah, it's a distraction from I don't know what it's from. I guess from more Chinese virus deaths is what she was saying it was this distraction from. But I think again they're showing their playbook, because all they do is use endless distractions like the very timely passing of, as I heard one fake news reporter call her, beloved Supreme Court Justice RBG. Beloved. Which, yeah, wow. I mean, I know there's some reason we're not allowed to speak ill of the dead, but she wasn't beloved to me. I don't know why we can't speak ill of the dead, but that does seem to be a social norm for some reason. Even if they were evil, I won't speak ill of her, even if she was evil.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I guess karma, maybe. I don't know. I don't get it either, but I guess, I don't know. I've played along for sure, but I certainly did not like her policies. And there was some things in the 70s where she had written in a book, where she had cited a statement in a book, which alluded to the fact of changing to the age of consent to, I want to say 14 or something like that.
Yeah.
And there's a little ambiguity to whether or not she was saying that, or if she was calling attention to it, which seems to be their hot take on anything controversial. Guys, we're just trying to raise awareness. You know, like Netflix right now. Like, holy crap, dude! So you're trying to raise awareness, and from what I understand, I can't watch it. I can't bring myself to watch it. I canceled my Netflix. I have till October 5th to watch the rest of the Twilight Zone episodes. Luckily, I've been closing in on it, but I can't bring myself to watch it. I'm sure you're the same, dude. But from what I understand, there's no real lesson at the end. So what are you calling? How is this some sort of lesson tale that you're calling attention to it? From what I understand, it's just a movie with horrible scenes in it.
We have to make the child porn to stop the child porn, is what it seems like to me, which doesn't make any damn sense. So I don't know. It's sick. Yeah. It's very sick. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's, you know, I've talked to so many people about it, and most people are disgusted, but I did talk to one of my friends who I mention a lot, and he's kind of a never Trumper, but not a triggered guy. You know, he thinks Trump is a buffoon. He lives in a big city, lives in Chicago, and he thinks, he's just a goofball. You know the line that he's an ass. I don't like him. There's no real argument, but he said the same thing, and I think it's one of those things. He didn't watch it, but I think it's one of those things that I don't know. People have been for so long, they think things like sexualization of children and abortion and endless war and big government programs is just kind of all normal part of society. It's all fine now to a lot of people. And I think it's because they don't deep down understand the implications of it. And I think that's why you have to show people the truth. I don't know if it's I think it's more than cuties, but I think people have just gotten used to so many of these norms that are normal, and thus they think it's fine, but normal doesn't equal fine necessarily.
Exactly. I don't know if they necessarily plan some of this like this, but sure, definitely got to show them, and they're being shown right now. And it's funny how they keep calling, like, I'll have people on Twitter say, some of the things you talk about are conspiracy theory. But then things keep coming out. Like, you know, when you say that they're trying to normalize pedophilia, or that there's a child trafficking problem, and they say you're a conspiracy theorist, but then 70 freaking children get saved the next week, and then they say, well, that's just been going on. And they always have some sort of out, like, can we just put our differences aside? Why do they have to be polarizing topics? And I was commenting on someone who said Tulsi Gabbard had talked crap about cuties.
Mm-hmm.
And someone online said, oh, the last total 2020 to see Tulsi Gabbard going full QAnon, that's the great, or whatever. It's totally saying, like, making fun of her and that movement. It's just, that's a bad thing. And I said in there, like, I thought this would be the one thing to unite us, yet here I am using weird letter characters so I don't get banned by Twitter for talking about it.
Yeah.
Weird.
It is weird, and it's funny how they've taken this QAnon thing, and it kind of ties nicely into the recent Q drop, because they've tried so hard to brand QAnon, brand a letter of the alphabet as this evil thing. They always call it far right, totally debunked, pseudoscience, which is totally projection about their whole narrative, which is totally debunked, all based on pseudoscience. Everything they do is total projection. And
everything.
Yeah, and they've just spent so much time and energy trying to debunk this. And then Q says this week, drop all references to QAnon, etc., to avoid ban termination. Like you said, you have to use special characters to talk about what you want. And
right.
And at this point, it doesn't matter if anybody, it seems like what Q's implying, and this makes a lot of sense to me. And you can tell me what you think, but it makes a lot of sense to me that we don't need another single person to know about Q or QAnon. It doesn't matter at this point. We've built the digital army of people that are now there when on election night they won't concede, to share the facts they don't want you to know, to download the facts and share them offline, online, whatever the case is. We've built up this massive network that's ready to go now. And it doesn't matter if anybody knows about Q, because enough people have enough common sense, enough decency deep down that they're going to see what's going on if we're there to show it to them.
That's a great point. That is a really good point, because there's enough evidence now, and it's certainly, everything's out there already. So you're right. We don't need that moving forward. And what I like to tell people is, these are all their own articles. Sure, it's all pre-2015, most of the ones you find, or some of the ones now, they'll report it quick on the local. That's why I always check the local news for a lot of these things. And, they're reporting these things. I don't know why there's such a problem. There seems to be such a problem with these things. And you could just see it in the way they report everything, especially with this peace deal. This guy, like, if this ain't a red pill, I don't know what it. We used to joke growing up, like, all right, man, peace, all right, peace in the Middle East. That's what you say, like, going, why? Because it was just never going to happen. And then obviously it really, after September 11th, really ramped up to be a pipe dream. And actually, things are happening. I'm sure there'll never be 100% peace there. They've been fighting some of these battles for 1,000 friggin' years. But this is one of the best moves towards it in so freaking long, in almost our entire lives, at least since the 90s. And on top of that, he's taken troops out of all three of the wars that we've had going on there, ongoing, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria. They knocked them for that. And they just can't, they're really showing their true colors. And I love what he said. This is so great. What he said last week, I guess just over a week ago. And he goes, I'm not saying the military's in love with me. The soldiers are. The top people in the Pentagon probably aren't, because they want to do nothing but fight wars so that all of those wonderful companies that make the bombs and make the planes and make everything else stay happy. And that is such a huge, to think these are just things that we used to talk about. And then the presidents get in and they go along with it. And, well, that's just the way of the world. But to think of someone actually saying that, a president actually pointing out, these are things that are in movies, like, well, they start the wars so everyone could get rich and stuff, and it's all fake. This is our president saying that, confirming it. This is a guy who's been in for 4 years. He now knows every secret of Washington, and he is confirming that these wars are just for profiteering. They're for more than that, obviously, but that is the main factor, and it was just glossed over. In fact, they were yelling at him. People at CNN were getting mad at him for saying that.
Wow.
So,
wow,
huge.
that is interesting. I didn't hear that, and that is amazing. And it really does, as you were saying, it confirms so much. And this is also when you're talking about the Middle East and the endless peace, the endless war there, and the endless fighting. I remember the first hearing about that when I was a young kid. You'd hear I don't know if this is your school or if you're watching at your school. This was in the 90s when I wasn't going to elementary school, but they give you kind of these little current event updates that were definitely propaganda because they were, made by liberals, and it was in conjunction with Scholastic, something that, was all funded by all these institutes, whatnot. And it would talk about these long-time skirmishes between Israel and the Palestinians. And you'd hear these reports about rockets being fired over there, and it's straight out of 1984, where they talk about how, sometimes they'd fire rockets in here to keep people afraid, to keep them at war with Eurasia or Oceania or whoever the hell it was, back and forth endlessly. And now Trump's out there confirming it works just like that they want to go. I mean, he didn't say it to keep you scared, but he says, they want to make money. And Q said recently, peace doesn't sell, war, fear does. It's so good for them. War, chaos, fear. And it's just so good. It works so well, and it's all becoming so obvious now.
To quote the great Dave Mustaine, peace sells, but who's buying? No.
That's a good one.
Does not work that way. And yeah, dude, that is a huge. I mean, Trump is out there. He is starting to drop more and more red pills. I've always said that I feel after the election, I feel second term, really the gloves are off. But it seems like he might be starting to take the gloves off a little now. And even with Julian Assange, I don't know if some of you have heard out there, and I know we were talking about it. He offered, Julian Assange's lawyer, Jennifer Robertson, stated in court, just stated that Trump apparently has offered Julian Assange a plea deal, a pardon of some sort, if he gives up who really hacked the DNC. And if it really turns out to be Seth Rich, which is what Julian Assange has alluded to in the past, that's the perfect out for both of them, for both of those things. That would show that, one, it would vindicate what people have been saying all along. Two, would further expose the subversive nature of the fake Mueller probe. And three, finally free Julian Assange. So I don't know what's up with that. Obviously, I don't know if he took it. I guess he didn't take it yet. But that is a major thing. And I got pretty excited when I read that today.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that until you mentioned it before the show, and it seems huge. I mean, and also, you said he hasn't accepted yet. It's coming out right now, end of September. We're getting so close. Q said timing is everything, and we're getting into October, and there's just, RBG today died of natural causes on accident. Interesting timing, but Q may imply. In fact, my wife texted me when she got the alert. She said, "Oh, I saw RBG died. Are they trying to cover something up?" And that's the level of stuff that's going on, like people understand these days. And it's like and I never would have thought that before. I don't know about you, but if you're watching this, I don't know about you either. But when someone died, I just thought, oh, they just died. I didn't think, oh, they timed this so they could cover up whatever they didn't want you to see.
Right. And now everyone who dies is the first thing that pops in my head for the last however many years. Isn't that crazy? The way they've, oh man.
Yeah.
So
and
true.
Yeah. And also on that same note, with that news coming out and with thinking about, I don't know what's going to go dark. I don't know who's going to get banned from what platforms. I don't know what's going to happen in terms of our ability to communicate with each other on a platform like this. But as soon as that happened, like any big news that happens, I just got 3 or 4 texts from people, various people I know saying, oh, did you hear this? What do you think about this? And that's the power we have with people, to be the news now, is this small world network we have where we're all not that far from each other. It's with everyone we know, it's the news gets out instant speed. And I didn't see a damn bit of CNN, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, exactly. I got same thing. I got 2 texts, one from Rook Castle and one from my buddy Ian at the same exact time. RBG just passed. Oh, it's pretty wild, man. And definitely, and everyone's on everything now. I'm sure there's so many people who just used to phone it in. I know at times in my life I had, but not anymore. Everyone's aware. Everyone's watching them. And that is their biggest enemy because they've been just able to fly under the radar. And another great news thing that we're seeing that you had just posted earlier, Sidney Powell, who knows if he's trolling or not saying this, but Trump said that Sidney Powell, General Flynn's lawyer, is on a short list of people they're looking to replace Director Wray of the FBI. And that would be amazing. First of all, for starters, she's brilliant and vigilant.
She is. Yeah. If you don't follow her on Twitter, she's very interesting.
Oh, she is great. And whatever she talks, I mean, she's clearly organized. She's always well researched. This is the exact type of person you want in this type of position. I got to tell you, if she's ever put in that position, people are going to shake in their boots, man. She has called out a lot of high names too. So.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I have an audio clip of her right here of what she said people's reaction would. You said people had shaken their boots. Yeah. She put it even more eloquently. Here's the audio.
Has anyone contacted you?
No, that's the first I've heard about it, although I have seen comments like that on Twitter, and I'm honored to be considered for it. I can only imagine the number of people in Washington and elsewhere that would need laundry service upon that announcement. So it should be quite interesting.
Need laundry service. That's a nice way of saying they'd shit their pants.
Amazing. So amazing, dude. I love it.
Yeah, they must know that she's not dirty and she has all the dirt, and that General Flynn is, she's pals with General Flynn, who knows where the bodies are buried. It's amazing.
Dude, if that dude's vouching for you, you're A-okay, man. That goes without saying.
Yeah, totally. It's it really feels, it feels like it's happening, first of all, with all the information coming out, but also as you were talking about all the stuff Trump was doing, I was thinking, wow, life has gotten better under Trump, I think, for most people. I mean, aside from the China virus, I know that made life difficult on a lot of people. But overall, if you weren't totally significantly affected by that, generally, not all, but generally, we've had less regulations. Business, everyone I talk to in business is booming, except for in, certain industries severely hit by the Chinese virus. And that's mostly from the forced shutdown. But business is booming, regulation is less, taxes are lower. I feel I've shed this sense of dread that America's going down the toilet because we're going into endless wars and everybody hates us and you never know what the hell's going to happen. I feel so much more confident to invest in my life and build a future than I did before. And I don't think they want us to do that, but I feel like it's getting better. I think a lot of people do.
Man, it's so true, though. It really is. Obviously, what happened with the virus is such a freak occurrence, but other than if that had never happened, they wouldn't even have an election. They'd be like, all right, man, you just want another 4 years because I don't know what to do here. But that is, again, with the perfect timing with RBG right now, they feel in their gut that they probably have enough time to try and fight it to maybe stop it from happening. Or I could hear them now. Her last request was not to put one in. He's disrespecting that. I'm sure she really said that, by the way. Yeah, right. But so that it just happened to really be well timed for the Democrats, just like the virus was exactly as impeachment was failing. In fact, on January 15th, the day that they made their big to-do and walked the impeachment papers down to the Senate, was the day that they pinned patient zero on the United States. It was also the same day that Trump had signed part one of the Chinese trade deal. So, boy, that was just great timing. How about that? For that to come. So for the Democrats, two sad things that have happened that just happened to be perfectly timed and worked out for them. Interesting.
Yeah, it really is. And they have expended, it seems like, all their ammunition and all the timing. It seems like it's going to bite them in the ass at this point, as long as we can have a free and fair election, which I don't know how it's going to do, but I'm sure if the Patriots, I don't know how it's going to go down. I don't know if you know how it's going to go down or if you have any ideas, but if the Patriots have planned this far, they must have a plan for the election to make it fair. Do you have any idea what it is? Because I don't.
Man, I don't know. I assume during 2018 they were watching people closely to figure out. In fact, they said who's doing what they have to do, but they changed the game now. This isn't the same kind of election. Who knows if I don't know. Did they plan for this? This is pretty wild. I mean, we know the left planned for this. They obviously had a rehearsal on October 18th of 2019. They had a huge rehearsal planned for the virus. Fortunately, well, they have a really lot of good timing. people on the left. But did they? I don't know. Did the Patriots plan for this all mail-in voting? I know today they started early voting in Virginia and apparently 3 other states. I didn't even know that was a thing. So, but
yeah, I really don't know how they get around the mail-in voting. I just don't know. I mean, I live in Washington. I think it's going to be all mail-in voting here, and I don't know how they can prevent that. I just don't know. I can't think of a way. Maybe they have something up their sleeve, but I don't know.
I don't know either. I don't know why there can't be a public database with every citizen's name on it, of voting age. Everyone gets one single vote. And if you don't vote by a certain time, your name goes dark.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I don't know. Why can't there be? I just don't understand. But yeah, it's definitely going to be weird. Zoso Dude 77 was telling me that Oregon has been strictly mail-in vote for decades. I didn't know that. They do always go blue, though.
Yeah, that's true. And there are a lot of people out here who are not Democrats, but it's the big cities. It's Portland and Seattle and Washington and Oregon that always do it. But I don't know. Well, I'm going to check the chat here. Let's see. Mike B says voting will be on blockchain. That could be, but it seems like a lot of infrastructure to get set up. I mean, there was that thing that the USPS patented a blockchain voting system a while ago. Did you see that, Brad?
No, but yes, I saw it mentioned, but I didn't see how it works. Would each one of us have our own specific blockchain? Is that how I'm to assume this would work?
No, it would be on one blockchain. I don't know what it would be on, but it would be. I guess they would do it by the voter rolls, and then you'd electronically sign your ballot. But then how do you make sure the right person signs it? So I don't know. I don't know how it would do it. It still seems like it could be.
Yeah, because I feel like hackable, right?
It wouldn't. I mean, it would only, the thing that wouldn't be hackable is that you couldn't change the votes. That would be unhackable, essentially, with the blockchain, assuming you had enough computing power behind it. But it would be, the hard part is the same thing with the mail-in ballots, which is how do you make sure that no one's voting for somebody else? You couldn't double vote for one person, but, if grandma's, sick and not going to vote, you could just vote for her. If you know your neighbor down the street is, you could vote for them if you have their information somehow. I mean, it seems better than mail-in paper ballots, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a good point. Like, what is the answer? Will there just always be? I'm sure there's always been some form of tipping the scales, right? Forever. But you know what? Just thinking about this now as you're saying it, if they're really going to push only mail-in voting, does that take the illegal immigrants who just show up at 2-3 different polling stations, they don't need ID, and just keep voting? Does that take them out of the equation? Because that might bite the Democrats in the ass.
It could, although I don't know if you saw this thing. It was in the New York Post. It was confessions of did you hear about this? This confessions of election
that guy
rigger?
said, he'd rigged things in New Jersey.
Yeah. And he had all these different techniques. He said the ballots were easy to duplicate, but you had to get the envelopes. So you'd find the envelopes in various places, or you'd get a postal worker in on it. And then you'd steam open the envelopes and take the old votes out and throw them in the trash, and then put your new votes in.
Shit.
And it's he said he swung elections. I mean, all elections are always very close. Not always, but a lot of these elections are very close, and you can get it down to just especially in a national election, like you probably saw if you're watching this, what happened in 2000 with Al Gore and George Bush. It was so close,
Chad.
Yeah, the hanging chads. And if you can just if you could have gotten a few extra 100,000 votes or whatever it is in Florida, they would have done it. So it's not that hard to rig a whole election with a few votes.
Right. Especially local municipalities. Those are definitely really don't have to do too much at all to rig those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it seems like they didn't prevent. They're not preventing mail-in voting in more places. Maybe there's something they can do with an executive order and IDs, but I don't know. We're running out of time, as you said. Isn't voting starting in some places like West Virginia? Did you say?
Yeah, said regular Virginia, and it said 3 other states. I didn't see what other states. The way it was written was kind of like it was a normal thing. So I guess maybe since I'm not one of the states, I've never heard of it before. But that's pretty wild. They were saying that apparently there's some long lines as voting gets underway, as early voting gets underway. Yeah, it seems like it's something normal.
Okay, so early voting in person seems fine.
Yeah, and it says it goes. This isn't like just today. Where was it? It says early voting goes from today to October 31st. So
interesting. Very interesting. I get a strange. Am I still online? Because my thing says offline, but I'm pretty sure I'm still online. Okay. Oh no, it's working. Okay, great. It was just a glitch in the system. Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm surprised we haven't seen anything yet, but I would think that they're monitoring the situation closely, because there was the release that came out the day after the last election, or maybe it was a release a month or two after it, but it said we've been monitoring it. We've been implementing new systems for election security since the day after the last election. So I bet they caught a hell of a lot of it. And I think that's one of the bombshells we'll get in the next coming months. I got to start making a list. There's so many things that are going to, we've got Seth Rich, voter fraud. I don't know what else, but there's so many things that have to come out in the next month or two. But not even two.
Man, and they're all starting to leak out little by little. It's pretty cool. I guess now's the time, because really we see how they're so good spinning things. And it's funny, this is actually a new video I've been working on. It's something a lot of you guys all know. Edward Bernays, Sigmund Freud's nephew. This guy was the father of the fake news and spin. And it's funny, I was researching this for a while, and especially writing it out these last few days. So many tactics that they do to this day come from him. And it's just, I think the whole system is finally getting exposed. And I think a part of that is mapping out how they do it so people could see through it.
Yeah, it only works if we don't see it. It's like it seems like magic if you don't know the magician is, palming the ball and then sticking it under the cup or whatever it is.
Right, exactly.
Otherwise,
and then once you know that, you're like, oh,
oh wow, that was so cool. Yeah, I believe you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we'll find out about voting. The Great Awakening's happening. We got bombshells coming. Let's see, at 6:51, we're over time, but we discussed before the show. If we go a few over, I think Red Pill won't be offended. We'll try and keep it on time, but we'll do our best to be on time. We started late. So we got at least one super chat here. Let's see. EO2 Chikawowski, aka EO2 Dave, said, I might be late. I'm watching the greatest show on earth, a Trump rally. Oh, yeah, that was good. Did you catch any of that Trump rally, Brad?
Yeah, I was watching. I probably watched about 20 minutes of it, and then I stopped to get ready for this. I probably could have wound up watching more.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, dude, it was a great one tonight. He said at one point, you know what? Do I have it? I have it queued up. There was a great freaking quote. I'll play this. It's literally like 30 seconds. Let's go here. I think I'm sharing my computer. Can you hear this?
No, but you can share your screen, and then I think it should work.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Share my screen.
There we go. We got it.
But I have to hit with audio, right?
Yes.
So. Now I forget where to share with audio.
If you want to send me the link, I can play it. You can do that too.
It's in Discord in chat spam, and I have it where you hit the link, it'll start right there.
Oh, nice. Okay, I got it. I got it right here. Here it is coming up. Oh yeah.
Somebody said, "What's the difference between crooked Hillary Clinton and Slow Joe?" So the difference is the following. She's meaner, probably not as nice. I don't know. You can't get any worse than her, what do you think? But the big difference is she's smarter than he is, okay? He's a nicer person, but he's not smart. He never was, not in prime time, and certainly not now. The Washington vultures ripped apart our towns.
That's pretty much it. But I just love where he was just like, he can't get much worse than her. He's cracking himself up half the times when he's talking up there.
Oh yeah, you know he is. I mean, it's I heard he said, did he just say there? He asked someone who the dumbest person in Washington was, the dumbest senator. Was that a different part?
Oh, that might have been that part. I kind of got there and it was just laughing, and I shared it, and then I started getting ready.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's having so. In fact, one of the parts I heard, he said, "Oh, should I?" He's making fun of Joe in the teleprompter. And my poor teleprompter guy, I'm on the second line. Should we just get rid of him? Should we just tell him to go home? And let's take a poll. And should we go with the teleprompter, or should we do it freestyle or something like that, freelance? And he said, and everyone cheered, "Oh, freelance!" I don't know if he did it, but
that's so great. Joe would fall to pieces without a teleprompter.
Oh yeah,
unless he's doing a show, unless this is all fake. You know what's weird is when they released those, when they leaked those calls from Russia for him to Poroshenko to Ukraine. I'm sorry, he's talking normal, and that's only like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. But no, probably even a little less. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, man, he's either deteriorated quick or he's full of crap. It does look real to me. I will say that. It definitely does look real. But that would be interesting. Imagine he comes out in the debates and he's just like, well, blah, blah, blah. And he's totally normal.
That would be,
I think Trump would actually get a kick out of that.
Yeah, because he can still wipe the floor with him, even Joe at his absolute peak, all stimmed out on whatever drugs he would be on. But it's a very convincing act, if it is.
Oh yeah, it can. There's too many. He's had too many like really embarrassing where he's just like. I mean, he looks like he's about to just turn to dust in half of them.
Yeah, and in fact, I don't know who said it, but someone pointed out, this is his wife should be saying, you guys can't do this. He's not well. It's not like he's just kind of a doddering idiot. He's not well, it seems.
Yeah, he just looks like he's struggling so hard in some of these clips for his mental facilities to grab the words out of his mouth. And like you're saying, even if he was at his best, Trump would destroy him. Yeah. So it doesn't even matter. But man, I just want to see one debate. And he's got an anger problem. So is he going to threaten? He's already threatened. Remember, I'm going to take Trump behind the woodshed. Could you imagine? I would pay pay-per-view to see him even try. But I'm going to take him. Oh, I'd like to punch him. He said that twice when he was running, that he wanted to punch Trump or he wanted to give him a beating, because clearly Joe Biden was clearly a bully in high school. You could just tell by the way he talks. But he has anger problems. And Trump is great at just twisting the knife, man. So
he is.
He's going to get him going at least at one point, and I think that would be funny to see. I wonder if he's going to threaten to fight him.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think the only sport left that hasn't been totally cucked is UFC, and I'm not saying they should actually fight, but if that's what it came down to, I just think Trump would win. I don't think it should come down to that, for the record, but.
Right, yeah, and I'm sure the last thing Trump would ever want to do is have a freaking physical altercation with someone, but man, it couldn't even be close. If you watch, I don't watch UFC too closely. My brother actually really likes it, but it seems like every other person in the UFC freaking loves Trump.
Oh yeah, and it's a very interesting sport. I never got into it till this year because my brother-in-law, he was very big into the Knuckler. If you've seen him on the stream before, he was very big into fighting for a while, and cool. he just explained to me why it's a very interesting sport and it's very fun to watch, and it's kind of a very it's very individualistic. It's not, which there's nothing wrong with team sports, but you really just have to. It's very meritocratic, which I guess all sports ought to be. But it's you have to be super high T, super focused, which maybe it's the case for all sports. For some reason, it hasn't got cucked. And Dana White, the guy who runs it, he's a big Trump fan. He's a friend of Trump's. And Trump said he's going to be watching. There's a fight on tomorrow. So Trump said he's going to be watching. So, and they haven't bent the knee to all of this BLM left-wing stuff. So I don't know what it is, but it's fun, I think.
Yeah, it's cool. Trump helped him, apparently. Dana White, I heard him say a while back, not the RNC, that when they were looking for venues in the beginning, they were having a lot of trouble because people it was just such a difference from boxing that they thought it was more Neanderthalish and they didn't want to put it on, that Trump actually helped them with venues in the beginning. And he said Trump was a huge part of helping them get going. So I wonder if Dana White kind of gave them all the, hey, man, one of the reasons you're here is because of Donald Trump, so you suck it up. I wonder if they got that thing. But a lot of them genuinely seem to like him. And it's a one thing, too, where these are forces of nature. How do you tell them, I'm sure some of these actors are like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I hate Trump. Yeah. Are you going to tell some madman who just bashed some guy's head against the canvas, who to vote for? I don't think so. So it kind of lends itself to not being told what to do. So I think that's good.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad there's something to fill the gap with football because I can't. I was never a huge football fan, but it was kind of fun to watch on occasion.
I keep forgetting that football's even.
I know,
on.
I know. Me too. I haven't watched it. I've watched less football this year than ever before, and without the crowds, it's not quite the same.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. I watched 2 Yankee games, which is pretty crazy for me. There's been times in my life where I'm pretty obsessed with the Yankees, and it's just weird with the piped in half crowd, and then you see the empty seats. I don't know. It's definitely breaking the illusion or destroying the illusion.
Yes,
Jordan Sather fans out there.
Exactly
for baseball, for me anyway. But yeah, the UFC, I haven't been watching too much. I should. I remember briefly in the 90s, my cousin showing me, and with like Tank Abbott and Veer Belfort, it was literally just like dudes just blasting each other. It was like a street fight. And now the little I've seen over the years with my brother, it's like so technical and very like jiu-jitsu oriented and stuff, which seems cool. But I guess I was a big boxing fan, so I would definitely gravitate towards the more brawl style fights. But it seems cool. I should check it out a little more.
Yeah, I mean they still beat the hell out of each other. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It gets the primal gladiator urges that I saw someone in the comments say. It's a modern day extreme gladiator, something to that effect. Okay, should we move on and take a call here?
Yeah, let's do it.
Awesome, cool, and thank you EO2 Dave Chikowski for the super chat. So
thank you.
First call we've got here, KC, how you doing, man? Is this a few weeks in a row? How are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Good. How's it going?
Can you hear? Oh, I'm good. Yeah, you guys brought up a lot of different topics, and I had like some thoughts on some of them. The first one that came to mind was like where you're talking about the UFC thing. It's not really UFC, but there's some people that I've seen like reposted on different accounts that are like supporting Trump that I wouldn't even think of, like Kirstie Alley and Janet Jameson. I'm like, that was kind of weird to see them posting like pro Republican, pro Trump stuff. So that was kind of weird to me.
Yeah, they're starting to come out a little out of the woodworks. Although they've actually both been around a little bit, but obviously it doesn't get any play, or no one will talk about it for sure because they just want it to go away.
Oh yeah, big time. I think they're having to choose sides.
Yeah,
but even I didn't really follow this whole RBG thing before, so I don't really know anything much about her besides what the narrative they've been trying to show on the news. So, but I've been kind of questioning all these deaths of high profile people since like 2016, because like 2016 there was way too many people just dropping dead. Like I know
celebrities, right? Yeah, it was like a ton of celebrities. Yeah,
but the one that stuck out, I think was it Prince that died. Did Prince die 2016 too?
Yeah, he was one of them. I forget. I think it was like the end of 2015 into 2016. It was a flurry of a ton of deaths, and he was one of them. Yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering if those were kind of, like they were involved with people and they kind of took them out, or because their deaths, most of the deaths seem weird to me. Like it's like I was saying with Prince. A couple of months before he died, I was watching this interview with him on PBS with like this kind of like real liberal like talk show host guy, and he started going into this rant about how the air was being poisoned and other stuff. Like he said that he doesn't like cell phones and stuff. He doesn't care. He doesn't own a personal cell phone. But he was going in. He was trying to
He was talking about He was talking about chemtrails on there, and talking about how like all of a sudden everyone in the neighborhood started changing once you started seeing these things and getting into more fights. And actually, it's a pretty red pilled conversation.
Wow,
that's a good video.
And then there was that, and then there was I think Dick Gregory died the same year too. He's been red pilling people for like most of his career. Like he was kind of like another George Carlin to me. Like George Carlin was like nobody, like most people didn't take George Carlin seriously, and I think like most of the stuff he was talking about is happening now. Like I didn't even realize most of the stuff that he was talking about was true till like the last couple of months.
It's wild, right? Yeah, but now Dick Gregory, he really used to go off. But you're right, some of those Carlin skits are freaking crazy. And to go back on Prince, it came out that they said he didn't know he took the fentanyl, that those were spiked pills. So was it an accident? Right now it's ruled as an accidental death, but we'll see, yeah, right.
Yeah, to me, they said it was, what I heard was that it was suicide. That was the first thing I heard. I didn't hear that other stuff, but to me, like, I know people in Hollywood and stuff, this stuff happens to them that you don't know about, and they kill themselves. But he didn't seem like. Plus, like they were talking about like his estate, and he's like some of this stuff was like he didn't have like a will or anything. Like he had a lot of like cash in his house. They said like he had like about $250,000 worth of gold, like actual gold in his like gold.
Prince was a gold bug.
I don't know.
Gold's the name of the game. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it was coins or bars or whatever, but that's still like if you're gonna kill yourself, like I don't know, like that seems like you're preparing for something. Like rather than death.
Right. Yeah, he definitely didn't kill himself. First of all, he was already isolated from all them. That was the whole point. They said he kind of just stayed away from the whole industry and he was locked away. And in his vault, allegedly, he had, they say, hundreds of unreleased songs, music videos complete videos that he had shot. He had all this stuff that he really retired from all that. So why would he kill himself? He's already, that's not indicative. People who do that from Hollywood usually are people who are so entrenched in it and they can't handle it, and they see no other way out. This guy was already out, was already isolated with his friends. They said he used to have a jack in every single room. Anywhere you were sitting, apparently in Prince's mansion, you could plug in a guitar. There was a guitar, a track, a jack, and you could hit record. And that anywhere you were, he was ready to record, which is a musician's dream.
Wow.
Yeah. I heard a couple of interviews about him like recently. One of them, they said that he owned his masters. Like he was one of the first people in a while to be like to own their masters.
And they don't like that.
Kanye was just talking about that on Twitter this week about how they never want you to own the masters or something of that.
Yeah, there's only a couple of people that came out in the last like 20, 30 years that own their masters. Like it's really, really hard to for you to even like make the money or get to the level where you could buy your masters.
Right. I think Michael Jackson, there was something where he had just bought back his masters or something, or he was trying to. There was something with him in that right around the time he died.
I don't know, but he owned a lot of the Beatles masters.
Yeah,
I heard which
McCartney tried to bid with him and he couldn't hang it. He outbid McCartney for his own music.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
KC, I'd love to talk more music stuff and conspiracies. Do you have a final thought? We got to move on to one more caller.
That's it for now. Like, if there's another caller, you could go ahead and take that.
Cool, man.
Go back.
Thanks for calling. I appreciate the call. It's a pleasure to continue the conversation. That brought up some interesting stuff about Prince.
All right, thanks.
Cool, man. See you later.
All right, take it easy, bud.
KC. Now we got Carl Weathers. Dare it be?
That was brought up some interesting. You all thought you could get rid of me, but you were wrong.
I never even considered the idea.
Oh,
Wait,
so
that's
sweet.
a thing? That was an option?
That is not an option, sire. Well, thanks for having me on and squeezing me in these last few minutes. I won't take up too much of your time. I just thought, while I'm always waiting, I'm like formulating what the hell I'm going to ask about and what I'm going to say. Something that's not off the cuff. So my question to you, gentlemen, is how do you think that Romeo Bravo Golf's death is going to change the election?
Well, I think it's going to be a distraction. I think that is going to be the major talking point from now on. Is who he's going to pick, and will he respect her wishes, and blah, 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 blah. And I think it gives them something to talk about other than how senile Joe Biden is.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I, they're going to try and use it for a distraction, it seems like, for a while. I don't know how long they can hold that on. I mean, she was pretty old and in ill health. And they're going to try and, as Brad said, they're going to try and say, oh, Trump's going to try and appoint someone right away. And I think Trump's just going to go, no, well, we can wait till after the election. No problem. Totally fine.
Are we going to get another Supreme Court justice prior to the election, you think?
I don't think so, but maybe. I don't know. What do you think, Brad?
I don't know. I think it's going to be hard. I mean, look what they did with Kavanaugh. I think he'd be smart to appoint a woman because it'd be hard to slap her with a sexual harassment crap that they try to slap on everyone,
Then they'll just say that she's a racist and what else, a rapist and all the other ists.
Yeah, they'll be inventing ists.
Yeah, what do you think, Carl? What do you think they're going to do?
I really, I was watching the Trump rally with my mom over there at her place, and then because she still watches Fox and better than CNN at least, but slightly, and then they cut to that with the big announcement, and I was thinking, wow, that's big, and I started contemplating really, and I still haven't quite figured it out. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as you guys. I'm not sure. It would be nice to get one, and I still think Trump in his second term will get another. I forgot who it was. Somebody, isn't it, that's supposedly going to be retiring besides, obviously, Ruth.
Yeah.
Imagine four.
Wasn't there another justice up?
What's that, Carl?
Wasn't there another justice up to retire pretty soon? The gentleman.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't specifically recall, but I think at this point, once he gets this one, I think we're in pretty good shape in terms of having a pretty based judiciary.
Want more?
I agree. I'd love more. I think we're going to get it.
We're selfish, or at least I am. Yeah.
That's the beauty of capitalism. You can be looking out to have a great deal for yourself, but you can also make a great deal for everyone around you. It's beautiful. That's freedom.
It really is. We need to get back to real capitalism.
Yeah,
we're like
exactly.
in a socialist system, kind of LARPing
quasi-capitalism.
Yeah, and they never wanted us. It was in the 70s. For the first time since the 70s, real wages have gone up. Adjusted for inflation. You're more buying power. But in the 70s, when they started shipping all and destroying all the factories and your jobs and all this stuff Trump says in the speech will get him elected, they couldn't let us get too prosperous, because if you look over the course of human history, every so often your standard of living in terms of real GDP, it just goes up and up and up. It doubles every so often. And think about if what you made today, if it just doubled, it's like how much you'd probably think. I would think, I can scale back a little bit. I'll work a little less because you're making, and then you have more time to have conversations like this, to dig into conspiracy theories, to consider what you want in life. They want us struggling. Hugh said economic struggle by design, and they don't want that. And so that's why I think.
And not only would I be able to, save a little bit more and work a little bit less, but I think I could finally move out of the trash can, and I could maybe even get into a dumpster.
That's
let's
the
not
American
get ahead
dream.
of ourselves, all right, guy? I mean, come on.
Anything's possible under Trump. Yeah.
Oh man.
One of these days I will upgrade, boys, and you'll see that giant dumpster. Well, it'll probably be like 4 yards, but still, it'll be a lot better than the trash can. That
you should go to recycling bin first, all right? It's baby steps.
Yeah. Now the plastic makes too much noise.
Oh yeah. You got to have good soundproofing for the external noise.
Doesn't smell enough,
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. I guess are you both going to be on? What's it? Gosh, why can't I think of his name?
Red Pills,
Oh,
no,
we're
but
not on
it's
tonight.
always fun to watch.
Yeah, he's got black.
You're not on tonight.
No, he's got Black Conservative Patriot on, who's really good.
Oh, he's
I
awesome.
know BTP.
Yeah.
I do watch him. Do you guys watch Anthony Bryan Logan?
No, I don't know who that is.
No, I don't know.
And he's really good. My mom likes him too. I've gotten her quite. She also likes X22. I think Dave. She likes Dave.
Oh yeah,
Dave's great. He's a staple, man. Dave's is very cool. He just got a strike.
Yeah, they did him dirty.
Content strike, and he's very measured.
He is.
So I'm sure they got him some slick stuff.
They're always
they'll say
looking for
anything.
something. That's what I fear. As you get bigger, they'll be coming for you too. Everybody was kind of in the chat tonight, kind of walking on eggshells about what's going to be said about Romeo Bravo golf. But I'm kind of like a rebel, I guess. And they say obviously it's about you guys. Obviously, we don't want you to get canceled. But I feel like if they don't even need a reason. If they wanted you gone, they could easily just be like, you know what, you've been real naughty, and we're gonna get rid of you. Right? I mean, just look at quite frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
Don't get too big, boys. Don't get too big.
Yeah, well, even it does. That's the beauty of the Great Awakening, is that if they can take out every so-called big channel or account or whatever, and it's still going to keep going because we're all the news now.
That's why all you guys need to start your own YouTube channels. Like, honestly, dude, you should have
whatever
a YouTube
you
channel.
want.
Yeah, even if, in the beginning, there won't be a lot of people watching, but this is a swarm, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, every one of the channels. Just talk,
try to think
hit
about,
play,
like,
and
what
put
it
your
could
thoughts
be
on.
and what. Well, I'm curious how I could differentiate myself, because there's so many of you guys that
Carl, that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. How you could differentiate yourself? You've built a reputation with off the wall remarks that are also at the same time often have insight, even with their
lunacy.
No, not lunacy, because they're often logical. They're just I can't think of the word. I can't think of the right word, but they're colorful, I guess you could say. But yeah,
I've often contemplated it, but it's like a matter of like time devotion.
Oh yeah,
I want to write. I want to put my time to writing, and then it's same reason I don't learn to play the guitar. So because it's like, well, then I'd have to set the majority of my time away for that. I have too many things I want to do, and I guess it's hard to choose which one is more important to me.
Oh yeah, everyone should follow this. Q said, consider your own strengths, weaknesses, etc. What you're into. So, but if everyone dedicates whatever they want to do to being as much as they can, being the news now, when they nuke various places, we'll be unstoppable.
Absolutely, I agree. I appreciate you both having me on here. I won't keep you any longer. Bradley and Taylor, you're great, man. News Daddy,
Thanks,
always very reasonable.
Thanks, brother. Always a pleasure.
Love you guys. Y'all take care.
Love you too. See you later, Carl.
Take it easy,
good night.
Bye.
Do we have time? Can I tell a quick Jenna Jameson story?
Oh yeah, and we
Jenna.
Yeah, we got Zoso to pop in for a minute too. You want to do it before or after that, and then a super chat too?
After that.
Okay, you want to close? Should we close with your story?
Sure.
Awesome.
Sure.
Okay, great. I got a super chat in the meantime from Pop Some Popcorn. Nice name. Says, enjoy spending my Friday nights watching you both. After the past couple of days, anyone that still says nothing is happening are blind. Keep up the good fight, fellow Midnight Riders. Thank you, Pops and Popcorn. I totally agree. And if this is what happened this week, imagine the next 7 weeks. It's going to be absurd.
Awesome. So awesome, man.
Yeah, I can feel it. Can't you feel it?
It's just like, it really is. It's just palpable, man.
Yeah.
It's such a great energy, and there's so much stuff to cover. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it is. And I don't know, I'm getting 2016 energy where it's feeling very excited. We're getting up to it. I feel this drive in me to just talk to people about this and make sure it happens, because it's about to happen.
and there's so many more people than 2016. So that excites me a lot.
Oh
too.
yeah, it's so much. Like, we've come so far from 2016, just so incredibly far. Zoso, how you doing, man? Are you there?
I am here.
Oh yeah, how are you, man? How's the road trip? If you don't know Zoso, he's on a road trip across the U.S. You can check out his channel, Zoso77, live streaming on the motorcycle. It's pretty cool. How are you, man?
Excellent. Gentlemen, I wanted to take, before anything else, since I have the two of you in one collective, I really owe you the world of thanks. I mean, my silly little channel has exploded, and it never would have happened without both of you guys really pumping me up, and I just owe you a world of thanks. And here's the interesting thing: I got to meet Joey, I got to meet Frank, I got to meet Brad. I'm coming your way, Craig.
Are you coming my way?
I'm going to change the tail end of my trip, and I'm going to find my way to you before I make my way home to Oregon.
Amazing. Okay, that's fantastic.
I may as well, do the fearsome foursome and call it good. It was so cool hanging out with Brad, not once but twice. It was great.
We had. I was saying, I wish I got more footage from the night before. We hung out till like 3 a.m, all of us talking and stuff. It was great.
That's the crazy thing. You get awakened souls together, even in a tired state. It's just so nice to have someone of like mind that we could talk till dawn.
Yeah,
it was great.
Wow, man, that's exciting.
Awesome. I want to thank you guys.
Times, hey, you don't know me anything. That's amazing. I'm glad to see one more person out there trying to share what's going on in the world and talking to people and being the news.
Yeah, it's super cool what you're doing,
much
man.
Fun. I am headed to Abe's. I'm stopping by Leah's tomorrow. Then I'm heading to Abe's in Kansas City, where he's going to help me do what you two guys are doing. And Saturday night will be the Zoe and Joe show, or the Joe and Zoe show.
Cool,
and,
Jozo.
And we're going to see what happens with that.
The Great Awakening 4, Zozo. Jozo.
Yes. I had so much fun with him last Monday. I hurt myself, but gentlemen, just like I really wanted to let you know, you both mean the world to me. And Craig, I'm going to do everything I can to come up and see you before I wrap this little journey up.
Awesome, man. Sounds great. I look forward to seeing you.
All right, gents. Yeah, have a great night. Really enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks.
My pleasure,
ride
man.
Safe, man.
Yeah, stay
safe, brother.
Thanks, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, see you, Zoso.
All right, take it easy.
Bye. Awesome, man. Zoso. We're going to get some live footage with Zoso. That's amazing.
Dude, we had a blast, man. That dude's a character. I love it. He reminds me of my buddies. So that was we had a good time.
Yeah, it's looked like you had fun on Joey's. I like the footage of you guys in Asbury Park, the King of Asbury Park. That was fun.
Yeah, that was cool, man. That was a lot of fun. It's funny. It's not a huge boardwalk either, so we walked it pretty quick. And then he had a run. And I don't know how he's gone so much. He says he's done, I think they call it, he said, an Ironman. I'm not too familiar with bike terminology where you do 1,000 miles in one day. And to get to us, he did 946 that day.
Wow.
And then he said it's done like 1,000 2 or 3 times already. I don't know if he was counting that day. That's just nuts, man. I wouldn't want to do that in a car, let alone a bike. But God bless him.
Yeah, dude.
It's such a cool endeavor he has embarked on.
Yeah, it's yielded some interesting tales and some quality footage.
Yes, 100%, man.
Cool. You want to tell your Jenna Jameson story to play us out?
Yeah. Well, it's really her story, but there's a famous story.
I was really hoping it was a story you had involving Jenna Jameson from your previous life.
So me and Jenna Jameson used to date. So apparently, for all this is just because it's an anon 4chan story of how awesome they are. And when I was going on a binge, I used to always watch them so much. And one of them is that she had a stalker. One of her ex-assistants was stalking her for a while. And she went on 4chan, told them, asked them for help. And it was something within a day or two, they had all this guy's information, where he hung out, the whole nine. And she was able to put a stop to it because of 4chan artists. And that is the beauty of that is the beauty of the free internet, and that is why this movement has grown so large out of that, and that's why they took Shia LaBeouf's flag down after watching Plane Patterns. Right. And it's just awesome, man. It's just so awesome to be a part of that madness. I love it,
dude. That is so funny. It's amazing what they can figure out, and it's why we're winning. Why this is all happening. It's unstoppable at this point. Unless they can totally shut down the internet and cell phone service, it's not going to happen for them.
100%. And my point is, Jenna Jameson might have been an anon for a lot longer than we realize.
Oh yeah,
just putting it out there.
Yeah,
because
right.
That story was from before all this, so she is certainly well versed in the way of the Chans and the internet autists.
Yeah, you got to wonder what other celebrities were out there.
Yeah,
on the anons.
Certainly has to be some of them, man. Certainly has to. I bet you a decent amount that we'd be surprised.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Because I mean, if you were a celebrity and you think, oh, I can post anonymous, that'd be cool. They haven't felt anonymous in years. I'm sure some of them.
Yeah, I'm sure they feel quite. I'm sure it's quite stifling not being able to post anonymous. So they probably love it.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. We've reached to the end of another hour, another friggin' Friday night.
An awesome friggin' Friday night. I had a lot of fun tonight, man, for sure.
Yeah, so did I. I hope all of you out there had fun. Except for, the sad news of RBG's passing. That's put a damper on everything, of course. But
I don't know. I'll be able to get sleep tonight.
Yeah. No, I should. You're right. Me neither.
Yeah.
So that's friggin' Friday night show. We'll be back next Friday, every Friday, and it's happening. Is it not happening, Brad?
Oh, it's happening.
It's happening.
It is, whether we want it to or not, it is happening.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a beautiful thing.
Amazing. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. We'll be back next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be back tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern with the Saturday morning stream. Brad, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm working on that documentary now. I might do something in between because I'm sure it'll probably take me probably about a week to finish that. Well, best laid plans. I always say that, and it takes me 2 weeks when people get
Classic
mad.
Case.
But I'll definitely have things in between that for sure.
Yeah, it was just there. There's I'm going on a tangent here, but I'll be fast. There's this rule I read in business that someone in a book once that said everything costs twice as much and takes twice as long as you expect. And then I read in a book last night that this has been studied. It's been studied and it's real. They surveyed a bunch of people who are going to write a textbook and they said, how long do you think it'll take? And they all said, 2 years. And then they surveyed people that actually did. And they said, 4 to 7 years. So
and
it's
it is always the way. Anytime I'm working on a big, like one of my mini docs, I'm always like, oh guys, closing in on it. I'll see you next Saturday. And 3 Saturdays later, people are like, what? Finally, when's this thing going?
Exactly. Okay, cool. Well, we're going to make it either way. The election's coming November 3rd, at least it should be in any year but 2020, but I think it'll really happen. So thank you all for joining. Carl Weathers says, thanks to all you sexy patriots. I couldn't agree more. Thanks to those of you who called in, and thanks to the super chatters. Thanks to the mods. And thank you, Brad. I'm having a pleasure doing this with you.
And thank you, sir.
Having a pleasure.
This has been a lot of fun.
Amazing. All right, I'll see you all later. We'll see you next week. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Goodbye.